It is the Investigator, your YouTube channel. Nga bulijjo nze Stanley Ndugu Ndaula, the Investigator as usual. The gun that fire, not the one for hire. You need to know that. Nsanyuse nnyo okubeerako nammwe neera lunaku lwa Sunday. Twagala okusaasira abalina bye muyitamu ebyokusoomooza. Twagala okusanyukira wamu nammwe abalina obuwanguzi bwe mutuuseeko obw'enjawulo. Tugende mu maaso tusubscribing, tuliking, let us share ne feedback eyo tujagala nnyo. Nkomyewo nate mu program Bad Deals Banks Do. Bw'otunuulira gye tubudde oyinza okuba nga tolabawo where bad deals banks do. Wegiramu naye we tunaamalira ojja kuba otuuse ku ekyo kye tutegeeza. Ndine Dorkas Komujuni. Nsanyusa okulabako. Kigenda bitya Mukama yeebazibwe.
Agulumizibwa ow'ekitiibwa.
Mukyala ono mukyala mulokole. Mujjukira bye nayogera ku balokole edda nga twakatandika wa. Naye nga be bantu baffe.
Program eneewanvu weno.
Be bantu baffe. So Dorkas twatandika naye mujjukira yonna gye twatandikira ali mu ssomero akyapye tugenda tujja tukuzimbira omuntu okulaga omuntu ayingidde amaze okusoma ayingidde business atambuza atandise okutunda amasaati yatandikira ku masaati nga 8 awo mpola mpola n'agenda n'atambuza ng'ateeka ensawo ku mabega n'atambulizamu engoye ze n'agenda n'akulaakulana n'atandika okupangisa booda agenda paka wuuyo mu URA mu bitongole by'enjawulo atunze amasaati atunze empale engoye z'abasajja perfumes nabiki ebifaanana bwe bityo. Atuuse aguze emmotoka ataddemu ebintu bye abitembeyeeza sente ziwezeeko nga bamanyi ez'ekikyala bazisevinga bulungi. Aguze ettaka erisooka eryokubiri ekirowoozo kizze n'agamba nti kakati ndowooza neetaaga address n'agamba kati ngenda kufuna wempangisa kizimbe kiri awo kumpi ne Cham Towers n'apangisaawo omuzigo mwalina okuteeka edduuka lye. Before we know ng'atandise okulowooza ku bya okugaziwa nga yeewola. Jjukira yali atandise awo ng'alina ebintu ng'abantu abagamba mbu abijja China naye nga tannafuna na passport erinnya. So Dorkas emboozi yo epulowinga bulungi era ejja tutuusa bulungi. Twagala ku nkomerero ya byonna tumanye, do you need really to go to the bank? If you are to go to the bank, which bank should you go to and at what time should you go to the bank? Okitegeera. Sometimes when nali nga nwana okuva ku sigala mabega eyo omusajja yaŋŋamba ntino nti bw'obanga oyagala okuva ku sigala bw'obanga owulira oyagala kunywa kwata omuno gwa sigala ogumu nga atya kati awo oba oguvaako otya kugamba naye nakitegeera luvannyuma nnyo nti yali aŋŋamba gwe munywe onaafuna ekimukuggyako. So abasajja abakulu abo balina embeera zaabwe. So diri ogenda mu bank kintu kikulu nnyo. Abantu bonna bagenda mu banks naye kyendabye mu bannayuganda tugenda nnyo mu bank mu kiseera ekikyamu. Okitegeera mu kiseera ekikyamu noba nga tosobola kusoma na gundi ezo agreements zaabwe tosobola zisoma. Loan agreement, simanyi profit, simanyi biki in case of default, bintu bingi because we go mu banks mu budde obuki. Wano nno njagala waliwo bangambirako gundi banks z'aba Islamic banking. I can't authoritatively talk about them. Nekye nawuliramu kye nayigamu nti bwe bakuwola ssente nga balaba nti oli ready okuzeewola ate bakolaganira wamu naawe okulaba nga ssente ezo ozikola ki ozisasula. Naye kati banks zaffe ezisinga obungi bagezaako okulaba nti aweyaya weeri wayimiridde wali kyoba olaba nti baleeta baliwa bakuwa positive value ya ssente ezijja mu ki kubanga olaba from the word go baba batunuulira property ekitegeera tebatunuulira business gyogenda kuteekamu ki gyogenda kuteekamu ssente oba ssente zaabwe zinaavaayo bo batunuulira property enajjayo ssente kati gwe tebafaayo oba ozituttemu kwabya nnyimba oba kukola ki that's what they want. So wetunaamalira maybe nga sometimes waliwo olugero olugamba nti amaziga g'ente essanyu ly'amalembo amaziga g'ente ly'essanyu ly'amalembo nti gundi Dorkas ayinza okuba nga ye alina byayiseemu naye ne biyigiriza ki ne biyigiriza ggwe malembo ndowooza ebambwa ti amaziga g'ente liba bagisala ng'eno embwa ekola ki ng'esanyufu egenda kufuna ekyokulya. So kakati awo tupangisiza ekizimbe era ogenda togenda tuzaayo mabega naye kati watulaga opangisiza ekizimbe sente zaali mmeka wali osebinze wali I mean from there tutambule. Naye kirala kye nazudde zino programu olabika wazifudde za luzungu naye kyomukira omulungi batusaba dda naye singa programu ezo zibeera mu luzungu kati nja kusaba olwokuba nti programu zaffe za Luganda ojja bitabika beera n'emirembe mu lulimi lwonna lw'oyogera okuggyako luli lwewaka tuyinza okuba nga sibanja abalumanyi ennyo ate n'abalumanyi olwo bayita olunyakitala lugatta zonna.
Runyankole, I think Banyankole people tend to say Runyachitara, but we have different languages, Bachiga, Banyoro, and then
Okay.
So.
Opangisiza tutandikira.
Abatulaba, good morning. It's a Sunday. Mukama yebazibwe abasobodde okugenda ku masinzizo. Twebaza Mukama abatasobodde. Katusabe oluddako musobole nga Mr. Stanley okutuukako ew'omutonzi mumwebaze
asabye tuwayiriza
anti the next time kuba leero tewasabye twakomeekereza ku dduuka is it called H&B just opposite Cham Towers
ku luguudo luli olweri opposite Cham Towers eno tutulabayo petrol station.
No, waliwo wano wooserengetera instead okubeera ku like to go ku bitaala bawayita
Cham Towers
yes usually then
oba bata ekyabeera waawo edduuka lya bata
I don't think because waliwo gundi ya Peace it's a restaurant ewa Peace yes
bana ekyaliwo
yes wamanga just ewa Peace awo waliwo ekizimbe yeah so
entrance eyo
yes there is in between that road so there is munansonyiwa bwe njogera Oluganda lwokka mugenda kunsalamu clips kubanga n'ennaku zino mutusalamu Abanyankole clips nga boogera Oluganda so my Luganda might have issues
nayo jadde ogera
so mpola mpangisa edduuka because nali njagala address like everywhere I realized people just want to know where do you get this thing from or what. It's all about ego. So I had to look for a station. I tell them like I don't know why Mukama bw'atuwa omukisa n'afuna w'atutuusa tutandika okulaba ng'ate w'atujje walinga watuswaza because I couldn't like nti ntembe yangenda n'embijja wali like you'd feel like when someone knows I go down and do this maybe they will start okubala onzijjako amagoba so
mu story eno oteekamu China
yeah because before between yes and then you tell them so I get a shop nenji sasula, but I was sub-renting with my sister Doreen. Twapangisa emyezi esatu because wali osasula emyezi esatu egisooka neera bwe jaggwaawo I had to get out because saakolawo yadde ekikumi like n'ennusu. So people love shops in town for people to know that Gunda ayina edduuka but man zitta, and that is where my journey eya loans etandika. Nze nsigala ntembeya byentembeya mbitutambuza mu motoka, then my sister has to sit in the shop because I couldn't sit. So then youth loans were there, government youth loans, and for this kumukutu guno njagala kwebaza government because I was one of the youths that benefited from that money. They would give 5 million, but take Centenary Bank 5 million naye at an interest rate was it of 15 point something in
bank.
So Centenary Bank
togera ku mwaka
when is it? Let me see. Sagala kulimba mwaka because my head. King was
okay,
around 1 year. So
nga bateeka sente mugundi zaali za kintandikwa.
What was a youth facilitation money government they ateka mu bank in two segments. Nga waliwo national youth loan. You have to be below 30 years. Then from 30 to 35 nga eyo KCCA loan. But KCCA loan I realized yalina obukwakulizo bungi kati yeringa emyoga kati gye baligezaako tambuza. They would only give it to projects. Then if you're an individual they only give 2 million. So I did national because I was still a youth. I did it, I think I took that money for around 4 years. So very well. Actually nina nerena zijjayo after like a week nenzizayo. So I benefited out of olugendo lwange we lutandikira, so I borrow that money.
Balina okuwola because Dorkas jagala tutwale process by process. Diro ogulawo account mu bank. Account
najigulawo nga ndi mu senior, was it senior 6 vacation? Yes, because I was making money. Ate omuntu anyamba okugulawo account yali loans officer wa mama wange. So if there is one thing I want to clarify today is that not all that is bad is actually bad. Centenary Rural Development Bank was good because twasomera ku loans. Yeah, my mother always got loans. In that, it even introduced us to the loans officers. Up to now, Mr. Kakoma Moses is still my very good friend. Nebwe yaje Kampala, how do I get to Nachivubo? It's because Kakoma Moses yali e Nachivubo.
Today.
Yes.
Akati olia okuchamtawas.
Yes. So
bakubulira waliyo sente za gundi.
Zayo kati Mr. Kakoma then yali transferred from Barra to Kampala. Ndi Kampala. So ngali ku Entebbe Road. So he tells me about that money. So no kutambuza because ye yali mu commercial loans. But okutambula all through yanyamba okufuna process ya sente ezo. Even getting a financial card. So I get that money because he said that's money for the youth. Yeah, use that money, it's your money. So I get that loan. Sajifunamo buzibu, paid it off, then went back like that. So sente
zapo yes.
No. Youth loan yali strictly 5. So eduka sente zazipangisa zezava mu gundi mu banka.
Wewola mu banka no
msasula rent. So you see how that money all dies away. So but I didn't feel it.
Actually I got a status.
Still but still nasigala ntambuza bye nali ntambuza. So we closed up, and then the thought of going to China keeps in my head. But I think I was green, and I didn't know that, because now being in the business, I understand that osobola okuba ne $1,300 no flying, and then you can bring something. So after
$3,000.
Yes.
Million 10.
Yes.
Osobola ogenda China.
Ooh, very well.
No lete binokolako n'amagoba.
Yes.
Babuulira abo. Kisoboka.
Because yes, you know, people think that okugenda okusuubula wabweru olina okuleeta container nedda. And the mistake people do is to think that okukola business weetaaga ssente nyingi. That's also a mistake. So I sit now, omuntu anayiga mu kino anayiga ensobi eyo gye nakola, because maybe olugendo lwange lunayamba abantu abamu to learn out of it. That's my intention of giving out my story to the public. So after closing, I stayed in strictly mobile business, but for some time, because I realized that abantu abasabanga address babuuza biki, no one ever even bothered to come to that shop. So literally I did it for people that put me on pressure, but they didn't care. So I first put it on hold. Then
Nageri gye baali bakusaba mu address
yes, and to tell them, and no one, yes, n'abayita mu tawuni ne bayita ku Entebbe Road ng'obagamba ndese, no one even bothers. They still find you where they have always seen you from. So that 5 million goes, and yeah, I paid it, and I continue with what I'm doing. But I had this niche of flying out of the country. So around, I think after a year or something, I'm sorry, ebimu tebijja kuba giving exact, because I didn't rehearse. This is my story, so someday it's way back. Sudil azimbe ekizimbe ekiri wammanga wa Energy Center. That building, bagiyita batya, I don't know, but Energy Center wekoma that building that is there. So I go down to rent. One ovuddewo
rent ozeewoze sente z'abavubuka osasudde renti nezifa n'ogenda ku kizimbe ekirala kye bali.
No, I first took a year. Yeah.
Let us flow.
Yes, I first took, I told you, after that loss nasooka nempumuza ebyedduuka, because I realized nesigala, because even still when I put up that shop, I still nasigala ntembeya my sister that I was quarantined with nga yalimu. So in the entire 3 months tetwatundayo yadde piece name. I didn't get, you remember I did I had to do furnituring and all that, zonna nezifa. So everything. But at some point mzee yangambe is school fees, so that is school fees, and I thank the good Lord for the process. I realized na abantu abandipanga pressure.
Baba kitegedde school fees. Experience.
School fees, yes.
You are paying for experience, yeah.
Because my dad is like you went to campus, you studied, and ngabwe wasasureza university kati. So people njagala nterezemu abantu bajja kuwulira nga njogera my dad. Yes, I said my dad died samulaba, but I have a father figure in my life. Yeah, so I call him like dad all the time. So then he was in KCCA. So after that 1 year, now ntandika okuwulira nga oba obutembe yimbukoyi oba kye bayita ki, and I no longer saw myself
fatigue.
No, like I no longer saw myself there. I felt like I think I've outgrown here. Really, I needed the show. I needed to travel.
You were fatigued. Ngobiwulira omanyi bw'omanyira kibola nti abantu abamu bagenda ku holidays.
Yeah.
To freshen up.
No, me, I felt I needed to upgrade. Chiringa bw'ogamba nti ndiwa naye Serena olowooza kati hotel eno ndaba Serena ndaba Commonwealth ndoza kati nsobola, you know, and you have that niche of growing. So I sat with then okugenda wabweru Dubai okuba ekyeyo that is when it had started like nga kifuluma nnyo. So I told Muze, I'm like, I'm going to sell my, because King was then 3. So abanda babajja kunyamba. My son is now 10 years and 7 months. So when njogera emyaka gya King china nyamba for someone to to know the year. So King had then made 3 years. So I tell Muze, King kamutwalire mama wange. I go to Dubai. Baba gamba, oh, funa million sato mwezi bichi, you know, bakuwa wokusula and all that. So Ugandans tend to sit and calculate. Kati bivudeyo limelight, people know that it's not the truth. But then, like, ne media zezoko gire tebyaliyo. So I'm like, kangende nkubecheyo. I'm going to sell because you needed to pay money for the process. So I'm like, let me sell my Vitz, because that's my first lady car. Literally, people wonder why I'm stuck. Emotoka ya sente zange yechichara teri mu sente zamu. And you feel like, yes, I have achieved. So I tell Mze I'm going to sell, then go to Dubai nkubeye emyaka esatu. Bwe nkomawo ngende nsutandike nkolechi. Then he's like, do you know what happens? Actually, it was we are seated at a restaurant opposite this, is it National or Communication something, Wagulu Wala Bonita. There is a restaurant somewhere. Then Nangamba Manyachiri Dubai. Nangamba, they take those girls and sell them off as sex workers. Like, I had no clue. Then he's like, what do you want to really do? And to go back a little bit, I had detached from Muze when I got pregnant. Reason I a little bit got emotional. So after campus, when I got pregnant, he was not happy about it, though he had met the father of my child. So I think with the disappointment and all that, sija kuita kuzalukuka oba ki naye yanneesonyiwa. But I had my mom, so I went through it.
Muzeyi oyo uncle.
Yes.
Mukwano gwa mama wo?
No, my mother's side, uncle, my mother's side, but he's that father figure in my life.
Okay.
Yeah, so people adopt kids differently, but
I understand.
But we are best of friends, like literally.
Wabo tugenda maaso n'okwogera ku muzeeyi yapa, then katono taata, father figure tukitegedde. Naye was from the streets or whatever. So tuba twetaaga okumanya.
Yeah.
Are you related? Is it maternal or paternal?
With my mom. Okay. But and they are friends. So what do you okubeera nti muri related but you're not?
You are detached.
Yes, but I don't talk about my own father, my biological father. Kuba samulaba yafa ndi muto nnyo. So Muzeyi. So
walita Muzeyi yakisanyukira.
Yes.
Olubuto.
So kwandibadde ng'okuzaalukuka, because that is what I would have said. Naye n'esonyiwa. Is that what they say? So like I had taken 3 years. Tanda, even when I produced nazalira Kampala, he never came. He saw my son when my son was around 6 months at a certain function. Nete yarera ki, like up to okay then now. So
mulira mo yagala genda bweru akugamba nti ebweru abawala babatunda.
Yeah. How we again got to talk was like a miracle. It was like a function, and he forgave me. So when he forgave me, he asked me out, because he always takes me out. He's that man that always takes me out. So then we talk. He tells, how have you been and all that, and I'm like, I'm planning to travel. And actually, literally, the reason I wanted to do that was to assure him that I can be successful, that I'm not a failure. Even when I bought a car, I think I called him and told him, Mpola, miliyoni emu malirizeeyo emmotoka yange ngenda zikudiza ate nazimudiza. To assure him that I have become successful, I'm not a failure. So he tells me that is not possible. So what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to travel to China. I want to go do business. I remember he refused. He told me,
Dorkas to flowing, not refusing, then you got another chirowozo genda.
No. Chirowozo yambuza that what do you want to do? I'm like, why do you want to go to be a slave out of the country? I'm like, I want to gather enough money njagala kusubula China. So you get me now. So he's like, I know of some people that are struggling. They are bagenda, never suffering, and they don't even get it. So he's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to go to China. So I remember it was a week before Christmas. So he tells me, do you have a passport? I'm like, actually I lied to him. I had a passport because when we met at 6 months at a function, he told me, get a passport. I didn't know why. So I never processed it. And my sisters always traveled. I think at some point, my elder sister Gwenzirako and a friend, nemugamba njagala genda ne baddafin. So he told me, you got your passport? I'm like, yes, it's okay. He told me I would give you money. So when he didn't give me money, I turned around in Chita. So, sorry, then I continued with my work. So that day he told me, do you have a passport? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, prepare your passport. I ran to URA because URA had become my family. I speak to one of my friends, Nengamba Douglas, I want a passport and all that. He gave me a number of, I'm not going to, now the people that Jetulaga.
He gave you a contact.
Yes, abamu amanya sija gogera. To go and I speak to them and tell the person he has sent me there. I got a passport in 3 days. So I tell Mose I have a passport. So we again meet on a Thursday. Nga Easter is happening next week, but that Thursday, still in the same place because he told me after work, he was in KCC after work, you come, we meet here. So do you have a passport? I'm like, it's here. So like we are seated here. Fortunately, so I just want people to know that even when you get falls and all that, a gentleman enters, then so greets him and namugamba by the one atambula agenda China. Nagamba ngenda after Easter because he does government projects, constructions and all that. So Mr. Kasozi was like, njagala genda kuba nyina materials zengendo okula. He's like, osobola okuntwalira muwala wange. He's like, okay. Naye kati visa bichi, my passport was there, like on the table. Oli namugamba jimpe. Oyina akafaananyi, I always move with passport photos in my bag. Nenkamuwa. Egenda kutwala sente mmeka. He said 700. Zainagam, that's around $200. He's like, it's okay.
Those days, no.
Around $200, yes.
Okay, again on Mars.
Yeah. So 200 something. Because zari nkumi satu meka satu lukaga, something like that.
Oh, that is it.
So
it is that recent.
because I have 20, let me see, that wasn't that 2016? Yeah, around 2016. So mzee ngakwata dole ebi ngabimuwa.
There and then.
So me, I came for dinner. Nekati nfunye visa.
He aliyagaba visa kasozi.
No. For him, because he was moving and yainaba agent. Me, I don't know anything about traveling. So he's like, ngenda kuwa agent. So he told me it's going to cost this. Because I had to get a single entry. So muwana akafanani. Yeah. So mzee nabi mulekera. And then he's like, okay, what about the ticket? So nagamba enaku z'omwezi bweziti ne bweziti. So nabalira muzeeyi ticket. My first trip to China, I used Emirates at $1,100. Anti ngenze n'omunene. So I get a ticket. The week, Thursday before Good Friday next week. Because we traveled immediately after Easter. My process was shit. So Muzei asks me, I had not olunako olwo nali sitembeyeza. Nambuza oli wane mugandi waka. Nangamba okay. Then the next thing is like, because it was around because that Thursday he had not worked, because Friday was Easter, and I think because yari mukulu mukesisiye, I think they gave them I don't know when their days had stopped, because he was traveling to Mbara for Easter the next day. So it was around 2 when the other call I got was, I'm at the gate open. So I opened. So he comes, he's like, okay, you have your passport, badge kudiza? Yes, because I actually got a visa as well in 3 days. He went out, went in the car. I don't want people to misread this and think that, you know, they call them...
That is where you go wrong. Just say what you say.
No, I mean,
Whoever
because saying
it.
this, someone would feel like, abo baina jeba, you know, chidi che wagamba nti tebalowooza nti zaava ku table.
No, it's okay.
So, Muzei brings out a parcel. Puts it, like, on my table in the sitting room. So, he's like, this is the money. I am busy in office. I want to put out investments, but I don't have the time, but I trust us, we can. So the name of my business is called Modo Garments. It's Moses and Dorkas. It was. I had never in my entire life seen a lot of money on the table. I froze. So he's like, okay, katisabira sente zo.
Nenga tunagenda mu kusabira sente. Wali opanga passport bakugambe muzeeyi omugambe yagala genda bweru. Nga ogenda oplanize kozesa sente ki. Kuba kati otulaga nti this is a miracle.
No.
Wali ogenda genda China kozesa sente ki.
I didn't have. Reason I said, nali njagala genda nkolo obwa
kadama. Window shopping. Wakadama ofune sente zigende China.
Zigende China, yes.
Naye kati akugamba funa passport,
yes.
Akufunja visa,
yes.
Kati nga already ulimo setting yagenda China.
Yes.
Nenga oyagala genda China nga oyine subi nti agenda kuwa sente.
Yes, because he told me yes, because now this is his thing. My thing was nkolerere sente kuba kati siziweza. I thought you had to have a lot of money. Ngende mu Bwakadama, and he said no. He told me get a passport and what? Chiringa bwenzijano no ngamba oyagala kati gwe no ngamba kola kino. I keep following, you know. What was going to happen afterwards, I didn't have a clue.
Okay.
So I tell you I'm home and I get shocked. Someone says, open.
Why the sendezo? Because they say we are going to partner.
To Kole. You get? Because his statement was, all I want in life is to sabanga Mary. And because I think then he had known about the issues I had then with King's dad. King is not yet in school. He's not looking after me and all that. So he told me, I want you to be successful. So
ndoza yawulira mbu wali ayagala nakuwaabira musajja.
Ndoza ebyo byonna. So he's like, kyenjagala tobulwanga mmere, King tabulwanga ki?
Kyakulya.
The money he put on the table was 30 million Ugandan shillings.
Kyobadde okungiriza.
I told you I'd never seen a lot of money. To you, you have seen. I had never seen a lot of money in the bundles. Like, mbadde ntembeya yes. Bamba. Naye okukwata like I froze.
I understand. Yeah.
Naye sebaka. And then he told me pray for them. And then I'm like, no, this is your, you pray. Then we prayed and he left. Now someone has brought 30 million to you munyumba. When aziteeka up to, because now remember bagenze mu Easter, and I need to change this money in dollars because Mr. Kasozi told me ever since the passport thing I kept on communicating with him. He told me you need to get dollars. Easter simanyi bwe yagwa. Sente zamuzeme. Nenzijayo nenziteeka mu draw. Nenzijayo nenziteeka mu ngoye mu wardrobe. And I felt like, oh my God. So come Tuesday, I went to town. I bought my dollars. It was to deal.
Wagenda na sente zonna nozituwaayo njagala
anti bangamba nyina okufuna dola kati nyina omuntu angamba ekyokukola because I don't know and I had no clue. My sister traveled but we had not discussed, and actually then yali China. So I got a bag like not this handbags,
laptop bag.
Yeah, naye nenjiteeka wano mu maaso.
Sikulanga bw'ogiteeka emabega sente zikulako.
Maze okufuna.
By everyone, I think buli omu abantu abali successful, but there is that moment lwe yalabako ku sente n'akola ki.
Kati ne bwompa million 10 by the way, I would be just like, because I've seen it.
There's always that first time. So notwala sente mu
nefuna dollar on Tuesday because we were traveling that week. I think we traveled on Friday or something. So I called my mother. I am going to board a plane. Oh my God. I told her, Mommy, come. Naye nyina nave embarara nti ngenda
kulinyanya.
I thought she would escort me. Naye natamba. Naye nenaku ze nafuna dola bannange. No dola olowooza zaali nga bulinga bwebuti because tezawera mutwalo gwa dola mwavaamu dola
kanaana mu 3.
Yes. So already the ticket was paid because he paid the ticket off that money. Not like the money but out of the money. Like nga teziri ku million 3. So my mom came a day before I traveled. Namperekera mpaka mu tawuni anti nali sigenda vuga motoka nenfuna Uber because nalina okusanga Mr. Kasozi ku offices ze alinga ku NSSF offices. So kuba ye yalina driver. So he's like, sigenda kutwala because I thought my mom would escort me to the airport ebyenda bamperekere. Then he's like, so my mom prays for me from there and then we go.
Waye Mr. Kasozi bali bamuvuga bamutwale.
Yes.
Motoka ekomewo.
Yeah, naye ng'omuntu amutwala alina okumulinda until because twadelayingamu a little bit. But because I think he was on budget eyandibaddenga gold for others, so they give him a priority because already he had booked. So no, Gundi ina classes Emirates, but with
Emirates.
With Qatar it has gold, platinum, and silver. So I bought Emirates. nentula mu nnyonyi omulundi ogusooka nga nfa. Actually we yasituka I threw up, but the scent of the food and all that, a little bit of spices, I felt sick. So but we had a sleepover in Dubai. Ate sigenze mu 5-star 3-star and overnight, then tukeera enkeera. Ne bampa room ng'erimu ebitanda bibiri bigazi bwe. Oh my God, anyway. To cut the long story short, I get to China. Ku kisaawe, different from what I do now. Ono yali contractor, I think he was dealing with factories, so getting to the airport bali bamulinze. So my first trip was executive. So we are picked from the airport, then we slept in a 3-star hotel in China. Yeba expensive. Kati nzize n'omuntu ate asuubula ebintu birala nga ye ali class apart. Kati ate nzize kusuubula takataka.
Ye tagenze na kusuubula, agenze kugula ebintu byakozesebwa oba ku site ze. Yali abisuubula, yali n'edduuka?
No. Government contractor.
Yali agenze kuleeta ebintu byakozesa ku site.
To confirm the orders and all that. So factories, because ye n'okwebaka n'okulya naki, factories would pay.
Oh.
So even the food, the meals and all that. So now every morning he had a car that would pick him from where he sleeps. But now what he did, he told me, ngenda kukutwa kumacha tujja kudropinga kozi yantwala Gwanda kati abatambule China bamanyi nangamba nyina wengendo kudropinga dabika nti olweggulo ofaayo nnyo okwate we watandikidde wobwankusanga to pick you up. Nyingira akatale kesimanyi. It's my first time. Sina mpelekera, but I was trained before leaving, and my sister used to say, buli muddugavu gw'olaba China mwegendereze baba bayayi baba batunzi banjaga baba chiya, because there were a lot of Nigerians then, but kati baba restricting after lockdown. So everywhere I looked at a black, sisobola mubuuza, I can't talk. Then I find that Chinese tebamanyi luzungu osangamu omu amanyi oluzungu. But before Douglas, the one I told you got me a connection in immigrations to get my passport, gave me a number of a Chinese, a tour guide that knew English very well, Alan, and told me he's going to walk you through. Before you travel, say so and so has given me your number. So I'd communicated with Alan. He was meant to pick me up from the airport, but I had someone. So my first day, I went to the market. I did not understand the market. I ended up at Nkoye bigere because nali nvudde kunyonyi nga Nkoye, because we had 2 weeks in China, though ye yatuka n'asigalayo. I ended up that first day esente ezimu nagulamu engoye za King, because nagwa ku kids in a kids, because we yanteka wali mu maaso ga kids mall. So me entering and all that, ate siguze engoye za King. Going back home, what did you buy? Nothing, because he picked me up later. So, but in the night I communicated to Alan, I'm in Uganda. Sorry, I'm in China. So he comes over to the hotel room at around 8. And he tells me tomorrow, because naino musasulanga $10 every day that he moves with me. So he tells me I'm going to come, then we are going to go to the European market because we wali ebintu ebirungi. So we worked together, I think, for 3 days. But nagenda no ne $8 muzeyi nenziramu nensaba $7,700,000, which actually makes it $1,000 plus. Nasuubula ebintu nga bituuka mu boxes 2. Abatambule China muzimanye ze boxes zetusiba. But I was happy.
Niba wobigula kati already olina ekifaananyi nti eno essaati bwenjigula bweziti njagitunda bweziti.
Nasuubula
oba it is general nti ebintu byawe mu miwendo gya wansi.
By the way, China ebintu byayo si bya wansi.
Yes.
Waliwo ebya wansi.
Wali obalo kyawo nti kino kanti gule nja kusobola kitunda at a profit.
The person who took me, ebyo byonna mbiyiga after lockdown. Nasasula school fees e China okumala emyaka 3. Nga buli lwe ngende China banziba. I lost over 200 million. Someone might not be 200 million Ugandan shillings in China.
Go sasulira.
The day I realized banziba, it was 2019, because I was amongst the last people in China before us going into lockdown. Twaja January nga satu with DAF. Then balangirira COVID. Nkola change money. Baina chebaita change money because tugenda ne dollars but usually to changing into RMBs. Kumba mu China when na changing iranga sente. Muwa dola 15 bwe bateeka ku kamashini kaabwe ke babala bw'aba azije golaba nti zibaze naye azije no wansi nga azikuba zigweno wansi zadze mu ngalo zakola ki. I never counted the money because I was not taught that bogula esati RMB nkaga mutano Ugandan shillings, because nze nagenda omutwe gungamba nti Ugandan shilling when you change money exchange rate about 600 Ugandan shillings, then you multiply. Then I didn't know anything about taxes, so tubule box ni biri banyongedde sente. So my first trip to China mutwalo gwa $1. Naye ebintu bye naleeta saawa zino bwe singa oddamu nompa sente ezo nsobola okutikka emigugu egiwera 12 oba 13. Ntuusa okubisasula omusolo mbitadde ewaka. Mbiteeka ewaka. Now Muzeyi comes of the view that I should again get a station because I can't keep. Kati awo wenfunira edduuka
kuba Wasudiru.
Wasudiru. Edduuka ly'Ewasudiru lyali lisasula $1,200. Asasuza, yes, it's in dollars.
Space key.
Abala square meter. Is that how he counts? Actually, in agreements ze I would have, because akuwa plan yet, is it sketch or plan yet izimya buli kati gwa alondamu erimu square meter something, then yeah. So asasuza rent according to the square meter. Is it called square meters or bunene bw'edduuka? So I get a shop at Deal's place, pay 3 months because tusasula 3 months, then ogumu gusigalayo nga security. In case you're leaving, you have to give back the shop the way you found it.
So bwebukadde busatu kumpi n'emitwalo 6.
So times 3.
Bwebukadde 10 ngana kamu n'okusobamu.
You know? So
for rent.
So naye ebintu nabitembeya and going, my guys, because I call them my guys in URN I was traveling, so people had specifications they had sent me for. Natunda, because the day I reached, I remember Billy came home. Napaki, I gave stuff, yeah. So
Billy.
Billy. So bought stuff, the Joe and all that. Nembitunda. Bwombuza sente zonna ze nabijjamu sizimanyi. Like omwendo sigumanyi.
Nenga zaali teziwera mutwalo gwa $1.
Tezisobola. But because ebintu nabitunda slightly higher, nga amagoba gabyo gasanyusa. So I get money, pay at to Deals, engato ze nali ndese ezimu ne tuziteekawo. Oh my God, I don't know. I think my old phone has those pictures. Nakola edduuka nga Bulaaya. Naye ezo sente zootadde because I think the person I hired to do the shop for me, ye yakola edduuka lya Brian's, you know, the perfection hour, yalikolera $7,000,000 ng'alina okusiiga paint and all that. Ndi mu sente zaani, Muzeeyi akyateekamu sente ezo. So I entered. After 2 months, nimvamu nayo satundayo piisi yadde kati omwo nalekamu my brother Derek nze nensigala nga ntembeya. So I think I got issues a little bit with Mzee. Then I was like, I'm done. Stop what, let Derek continue the business. Nze kanzire mu butembeyi bwange. So Derek is like, tells Mzee, why don't we get a shop downtown, Ham? That is the first year. Kati omuntu ajjukira we bagulira ham na Kivubo. Omwaka gwe bagulira mu ham. Oli namugamba, Dorkas ajja kumala coming around. So called my mother and is like, this and this and that. So my mom is like, oh my God, will your madness ever stop or something? So after, because then we are going for Christmas, and it ended. So he called me back, I think like a parent, omanyi omwana agwamu eddalu namala n'atereera. So January 20, I think that gets 2017, yes. We go down, Derek goes down, looks for the place. Tufuna ka cubicle downtown. Now I transfer to Ham na Kivubo. So deal, when nali nvamu gundi naddamu na painting edduuka, Tom naye ekirungi okupainting eri teyakunsasuza because he had to do this shop again. So Sudiru nanziriza $100 zange 1,200. Kati ezo $1,200 ewa Hamu edduuka lye bampa lyali sasula 1.5. So it pays the 3 months at Hamu. So I get to kati nyingidde mu busuubuzi. I flow my next trip. I traveled alone. Now traveling alone, but when I came to Uganda, mpulira ku mboozi z'abasuubuzi. So I know where they sleep. I get a card. Nti bwe ntuuka China, ofunawo taxi, naye wabaawo emmotoka eza cargoes ezitukola ki. But still I didn't know the market very well. So I again took, for 3 years, every time I was going to China, nga Mzee alina okukwata sente azimbe. After lockdown, towards I think the end of the last lockdown, his contract ended. So when his contract ended with KCCA, but then I'd started maturing and I felt like, no, enough is enough. I need to stand on my own. So I think January 2022, because to have lockdown 2021. So I now go to a loan in Centenary Bank. Before the first lockdown. I get
before the first lockdown, mumaze kushiftinga, mugenze ewa Ham, osasudde rent, musetinze edduuka lyammwe. Ye stock mwali?
Stock mu dduuka olyo mwali twava n'oweeri gye twajja ewa Sudir. Kati ne byali ebyokutembeya, kati awo okutembeya nkuvaako. Mbireeta ebiri bwe waka mu motoka bye mbadde ntembeya balance muteeka mu dduuka.
Kati ki ekikuwaliriza ate okugenda mu loan?
Now that is what I was going to get to. So when Mzee's contract ended, I felt like I needed now to be a woman. Like I need to be independent. So I remembered that Dorkas hustling.
Yakugamba nti sente takyalina kubanga omulimu
And
guweddewo,
up to now,
oba you just felt like it?
No, I felt because it had been 2019 Mve China, when I got to find out that Bari Wanziba.
Where is he in all these tools? But in Cuba, where was your sister? Already I called you Asuri.
Daphne, I traveled with Duff in 2019. Chovola bankugambye 2019 tukomawo. That is the only trip.
2019
yes, because then I traveled with my sisters. Ne bantwala because bali ba traveling different intervals. Ate baba tunda nsawo za bakyala. Me I'm doing. So tugenda fena we traveled in the same plane from Uganda. We traveled the three of us. So ne bantwala ne banfunira ne hotel. Kati dafu angamba, my sister's friend, wali engoye abantu bonna ebe Kampala we basuubula ku Dragon. So they put me at a hotel here ng'osadamu just across n'ogenda mu katale. Kati ako akatale ke kalimu ebintu ebiri cheap. Bw'okeera ku makya zuuku kasaawa zino suubula wano. So she told me, do this and this. So, and they would work, we would meet every evening. So, I have lunch with a friend called Yasin. Then, nemugamba, nva kukyusa sente, navange eno mu katale, kati Daffy nkyatangamba, toddamu kukyusa sente. Nva eno mu katale, ngende nkyuse sente ku 1 minute. Bulijjo kubanga ever since I went to China, I found that Chinese knew English and was like, I have a brother in Uganda, bichi. You know, we flew, kumbe sichimanyi, ntarukozesanga luye kubba. That is how he does what. So tutula ne Yasin alimak to have lunch. Munyumiza. Exchange rate lero ya meka ngamba. Nemugana yenze nchusiza wali kati bwe yabanga ngeri 7.0. Ngaya exchange rate ampa 8. So I felt like, cause market would give a different price. Nangamba bulijjo Dorkas bakugamba nemugate kisoboka. I had caught $5,000 ngamba kuzikyusa. Nangamba tochikiriza, nangamba bakuwadde sente meka. Nangamba gendo otuuke mu hotel. Oyina kye wasasude cause nali nzikyusiza ndya lunch ngende mu katale nsasule orders zentaddeyo. Nangamba tofuna muntu n'omu gwa 10 njagala bwe tuva wano dda ku hotel ogenda okwate sente zo ozibale one by one. Oh my God. Oh my God. Out of the $5,000 zenamuwa yali ampadde 10,000. Yes.
Is a dollar.
Naka, because it was on the 31st that night. Nga Uganda, I'm ushering her in New Year because it's not their New Year. It was winter. Nafuluma mu room. Nengenda, netugenda mu town ku Canton Town. Nga sina sweater. Mpewo yone ya winter omuzane gunkuba. Ngendo okuvayo because I'd gone with around 3 people. Natuuka mu hotel room. Nesumulula amazzi nga gocha. Neganjikira. Little did I know that gali kunjo, like I didn't feel it. I cried. Cause sawa mukaaga waliwo vision night. So nteeka ku simu yange salt up musumba yali asharinga mu.
Excuse me. Ofulumye. N'ogenda umaze kubala sente bakubye $10,000.
Yes. Ebili.
N'ogenda omuzira ne gukuba n'okuma
No, it was in the evening. It was in the evening. So I didn't know what to do next. Remember, I had picked this money at around 1. So you're not sure whether you should go back and confront. And one thing that I was told is police ye China tewuliriza baddugavu foreigners. China, because ne bwoba oyingira ku kisaawe China, it is China for Chinese. Bakubye Uganda nti basosowaza ba foreigner ate mwe abana Uganda, you know. China is for Chinese. Ne bwe mba mulayini Chinese bayina ne gundi kolomu yaabwe. So saddamu na kukubira Yasin. I went we yangamba mbale sente nzibala nsigala mu room. Up to around 10, I'm going to look for food. I meet Innocent. Atika kagoma uwe natikiranga ebintu. So I tell him. So he's like, fe tugenda kulaba fireworks because bakuba fireworks ku Canton Tower. We go. Then I went. Not because I wanted to go, but I wanted somewhere. And I told God, I'm entering the new year. The pain and the bitterness. Because they told me it only takes 30 minutes to komewo. Nga njagala kubeera ku gundi ku vision night. So nzija nteekako essimu yange nkaaba. Emboozi njinyumya the next day. Because nafuluma wabweru, that is when I realized that omuntu takugambanga nti gundi mubi. Soko omutuukirire omanye obubi obumulimu. Had I been speaking to blacks, I would know Ugandans, I would know who could help me. Actually, that next day mba nyingira ndi ku bus stop, tulinze bus, ndabo ne mubuuza, and I realized was a Ugandan. Kumacha nyimirira wabweru wa hotel. Embozi tunyumira because abamu bali parking and all that. Hey, happy new year, happy new year, happy new year. And I told him the story. So the guy that was seated told me, aha, katecho bobo chiyize katofuse musubuzi nali kumpi kuzirika. Nangamba bwoba otuse China emyaka nga totegeranga nti omuchina akubba oba tonayingira busubuzi. Then he tells me his story. So every time we think we have problems, people have gone through us. So, and he's like, kati gwe webaze mukama. Nti bino byonna bikubaddeko naye okyali e China. Told me there is a guy who came n'atika container number agenda okutuuka e Uganda nga bamuwadde tugiyita faji olusi tutika engoye gyali mipiira gya motoka naye nga gisaanuuka wegiti teyasobola kudda China yagwa. So it's like, for you, blessed that you are able to come back. So I'm like, mani oli n'agamba sente bagenda kuzikuddiza. Angamba jangu tugende. Wozija bulijjo wamanyi? Nangamba jangu. Na tulinya otugali tulinya obugali. Guy takes me down to 1 minute. We end the Chinese shop. Nangamba toyimirira kuba bw'oyimirira munda basobola okutiramu. They can forge anything. Because bamanyi police emanyi nti abaddugavu babbi. Nangamba tusigale ku mulyango. Tukwenda kukuba kerere. Nangamba kasito otandika okuleeta olwali e China. Omunigeria java tomanyi yasooka kuyamba muddugavu n'alyoka akola kinaga tebayinza kikkiriza. So we stand outside and then he starts speaking. Please, you see? Nagamba, so how much money? Nemugamba $10,000, yes, and I was Nangamba, okay. So for you always come from there and you want me to give you high price. Where do you think I get money? Nangamba, this is a developed country. Now me, I'm working for boss. I have family. I have to feed family. Where do you think I get money? In short, akulaga nti bayina okubba babeerewo. And he's like, when your country gets developed, you will understand. That was his statement. And I'm like, oh my God. I retrieved the $2,000 with the help. Yazituwa. Kerera nti tayagala gundi. Kubanga olya twekalakasa abantu tabagala kwekunganya kuba bagamba nti etteeka lya China buli mu China alina okukolera Java. Nti Mr. Ndawula Munyoro alina okusigala e Bunyoro. Dorkas mu Nyankole alina okukola ki because all states are kati babeera
babingamba na munzire kooti abo.
Nero terodde anti mu abajuziza Kampala. Now but they even the Chinese themselves babeera mu Gwanzu nga ba refugees. So bwe baba kwata nga tebazaalibwewo baba bagenda baba ba deporting and they take them back. So guy gives me back my money.
Okolerawo so si kubeerawo.
They are supposed to work where they come they are born. Like everyone is supposed to stay in their city. So some of them are illegally there.
In their city.
But China, but they are illegally in a different city. So he gives me the money. Oh my God. Me, every time I reach China, that is how I retrieved that money. I remember I'd gone with around $6,000. Jukira bali babieko 12,000. Ntika emigugu mukaaga. Nagenda luli n'omutwalo plus natike boxes. Si wenyingira obusuubuzi obw'amakulu. Kati nkomawo e Uganda. And I feel like, yes, kati tugenda okomawo, I think in a short time, we go for lockdown. Lockdown, then...
Tonnaba kubaako wewewola wono kyali.
Ntandika okwewola. after the first, because then
webakubidde wano dola 2,000 ozinunudde tezaliko bbanja lyamu
tezaliko bbanja and before no zaliko miliyoni 4 naye miliyoni 4 ezo Hamis Kigundu ye yazinga because hamu yampolanga sente nga teziriiko magoba
2019 bamuyigiriza China mwali mu kibuga kyekyo Guangzhou nina mukwano gwange actually childhood friend Emera ali awo ku ziti Kapero Mataza Kapero Plaza amaze emyaka n'emyaka ng'asuula China tubeera nnyo naye wano ajja kuyaya nandabako Mukama amuyimusiza mukozeseza ebintu bingi amanyi okujjana nga Stanley jangu tugende nkulambuzeeko wano bwatumala ne tutuula n'alya ku luwombo lwa yaya so bw'oba onyumya mba ndaba ekifaananyi kyambuulira engeri gyakola ki gyatambulamu so 2019 omukyala bamuyigiriza obusuubuzi the hard way ne bamuyigiriza obusuubuzi ne bamugamba nti omusuubuzi olekaanako then kyenjize mu episode eno nti nga bwagambye buli tujja kuseeta eno nalera program ziri ez'ebyobufuzi ebyaki ntera bagamba bane let us twetegerere ekitegeera twetegerere twadde tetunajja kuseeta ne mugamba nga ina bintu byaŋŋamba awo ne mugamba Dorkas focus on Dorkas ekitegeera not on what other people will think about Dorkas nze bw'ogenda wabweru waliwo abampita omutemu actually waliwo abagamba waliwo omukyala mukwano gwange ya confessinga very recently naye nga amaze ebbanga lya myaka ndooza nga 5 nga ndaba nga nsoma ne recently yagamba mu Stanley bwe bamugamba nti nze nga boobutwa mu Kampala wano nti nze nga boobutwa bw'aba politicians abafa kati nga naye amanyi bwatyo nejjukira teyaŋŋamba naye akola ki teyaŋŋamba naye amugamba which means naye amugamba nyinza okuba mbeera naye nga yebaye batambula bwe batyo omulala nagamba bane Stanley is a good guy omulala nagamba Stanley saagala namuwulira just don't talk about it.
I asked my sister last evening actually to say something. I asked a girl Patricia last evening because she was a journalist though kati alimu business. I'm glad, do you know someone called Mr. Underland something? He's like, he's described you. Those were the pioneers of, and she told me, Dorkas, just go and do this for Dorkas, not for anyone. And I'm shocked that someone could say, Patricia told me, you found a trustworthy person who is not going to sabotage your story. So I'm shocked you're telling me some people know. And he's like, you guys have never like had one-on-one or something all the time.
Because I don't know Patricia, I think. Yeah, what's the other name?
Agaba.
I don't know. So chembadengeza kukulaga nti bamugamba botuke China tonyega muddugavu. You get it? Then at the end of the day abaddugavu bamuyambye. I know muyina ebintu bingi bye muyina mujajinga nnyo abantu. You get it? But from today on, at least mu episode eno yugamu ekintu kimu nti weekakasize wezuulire.
Yeah. Try to learn something. Wezuulire wetegerere. And before anybody else, not even your son, not even your daughter, the first person to satisfy, to be satisfied by you is your person. Kati gwe bw'omala okwekkiririzaamu n'omanya ky'oyagala n'omanya ky'oluubirira then abalala basobola okuwerekerako mu lugendo lwolwo n'obugambo obwo tetugenda kusukkawo Mukama abeere nammwe. Sanyusa okulabako.